The Senate is to investigate allegations of insubordination raised by Minister of State for Petroleum Kachikwu against NNPC Group Managing Director Kachikwu.
Well, Senator Samuel Anyanwu moved the motion to amend a proposal raised by Senator Kabir Marafa on the issue. Senator Aliyu Wamako heads the 9-man ad hoc committee.
No time frame has been given so far. Well, we have a lawyer and political affairs commentator, Olufemi Aino, in the studio joining us this morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning.
Thank you.
I wonder what you make of this brouhaha and this feud
Yes.
that now seems to be settled somewhat, you know, between Kachikwu and Baru. We saw them at the NESG summit yesterday, looking like brother and brother.
Yeah, but you see, you have to be very careful.
Yes.
And you use the word settle. I think that's the best. Well, that's the best you can put it. But I don't think it's settled because you need to be very careful of all this PR exercise. Ministers are supposed to put up that appearance that they are all working as a team, that all is well. But behind the scene is a different thing entirely. And it's just like a couple you see on the road holding hands. The moment they shut the door, something else, there's a different scenario playing out. And it's quite unfortunate. This is a very important corporation to the economy of this country. And if those are the helm of affairs cannot work together as a team, where there is a power tussle between the two gladiators and too many other gladiators as well, then I have an issue. And it's an issue that takes my breath away. But the point is this. Leaving the issue aside, I think the president has his own share of the blame as well as being the person at the helm of affairs.
Why do you think so?
Well, I'm very grateful you asked that question. The reason being, if I appoint someone to represent me as an alternative chairman of a board, and somebody is trying to bypass that person to come to me with one proposal or the other, the best thing I will do is to send you back to that person, or I will ask you, have you discussed the matter with this person?
And this brings us to the allegation of a cabal in Aso Rock, really controlling the president, as it were. But then let's look at how this played out. After the memo leaked, Kachikwu was summoned by the president. He met with him, came back, said nothing.
Yes.
But Kachikwu, that had been silent for so long, then somehow became confident enough to speak and say that what Kachikwu said wasn't so. Are we seeing some, the more you look, the less you see kind of a situation playing out?
Well, first of all, one thing you need to consider is that when the APC came to power, did they promise you an open government? They only promised you a transparent government. They didn't.
What's the difference between open and transparent?
Exactly. Yes, I'm very grateful. When you run an open government, you can even put a question to a minister as an individual, as an citizen, and the minister will give you the answer. You can use the Freedom of Information Act to ask any ministry or government department for information, and they must give you. And each government department has an information officer, and that information officer is to abide by the spirit of the Freedom of Information Act. That is how you run an open government. But when you say a transparent government, that means we are fighting corruption. We didn't promise you. If you ask us for information, we will give it. Back to your question. After the meeting with the president, he said no comment. Well, that didn't come as a surprise, because if I'm the president, the first thing I will tell you is that, look, can you stop this media war, first of all?
Well, that doesn't seem to be the instruction that came from the president.
Yes.
Based on what we heard,
yes,
the president asked Baru to respond to the allegations made by Kachikwu.
Yes, that is one side of the argument. The second side of the argument was that why did the man, after the meeting with the president, the press asked him questions, he said no comment. Definitely as a leader, he will have warned him that, look, you have to stop the media war first. Because you see, you have to be very careful. If ministers or those at the helm of affairs are fighting each other, what is going to happen? The policies or achievement of government is going to be overshadowed by this bickering between individuals. So what you need to do is to ask them that, look, can you stop the media war first? And then I will look at the issues. I've seen your memo. And also, another thing you need to understand is this. If you fail to create an ombudsman method, whereby you work here. If there is a grievance, you should be able to talk to somebody who's going to look at it. If you don't create that avenue, what is going to happen? Frustration will set in. And when frustration sets in, you will get the sort of scenario where letters are going to be leaked to the press, or where people are going to look for another opportunity to communicate. And if you pick most major Nigerian newspaper, one thing you will see, if you read most of the newspaper today, you will see some people saying open letter to President Buhari, open letter to Governor this and that. It's just because that effective line of communication is not there.
Now the Senate has set up a committee, ad hoc committee, with no time frame to report back. Does that even look good enough?
Well, I think they have a role to play because, you know, as you know yourself, they have this oversight function. And it's, even though I have my reservation about the Senate, but irrespective of that, for the fact that they've stepped in, it's quite a positive development. But stepping in is not enough. You see, these sort of issues are issues that needs to be dealt with in a very punctilious way. And once you finish, then you let the people know what is likely to be the outcome. But by the time you set up an ad hoc committee, when you set up an ad hoc committee, the lifespan is just for a short period of time.
Okay, now, added to that is the fact that Mekanti Baru has said no law requires him to be answerable to the Minister of State for Petroleum. He's said that the NNPC Act does not, you know...
yes. I'm aware.
Okay.
No, I can
Make
read.
Us understand.
Don't worry, I can read your lips.
Yes.
Look, let me tell you this. That's a very convenient answer in the circumstances. And you have to be very careful when people start marking their own homework. There's a possibility they will be twisting the answer. Then instead of saying it wrong, they just take it and then they put a comma because you've given them the opportunity.
Your own eyes.
Exactly. So, you see, if you look at his explanation, it's defy logic and you defy common sense. And you don't teach people what common sense will have delivered. You have an NNPC Act who says the board is to regulate the affairs of the corporation. And you are saying, no, irrespective of that, I don't need to go to the board. What I need to do is to go to the tenders board. So which one comes first? Should there be an allegation? Should there be an investigation? Should there be any need to prosecute? Who are you going to? You see, this
so many questions begging for answers. We'll have to leave it there.
Exactly. Thank you very much for your analysis at this time. Olufemi, I know you're a lawyer and political affairs commentator. Thank you for coming.
So much.
Thank you so much.